Hello to everyone out there, whether you're going to watch this now or whether you watch the replay. I'm sending everybody who is watching this the biggest hug and so much love. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you are, much, much love to you. So I'm here. I want to talk about meditation, all right? Something we hear about often, something that we're encouraged to do. But a lot of times there's so many questions that we have regarding meditation. So I wanted to come and kind of give a simple version. Remember, I speak about how things work for me and how I view things that are sometimes complex, and I use them, I try to make it simple, all right? Simple, yet complex. So meditation. Well, basically what meditation is going to do for you is it allows you to disconnect, not just from your mind, which is very, very important to do, because the mind, remember guys, the mind wants to think, the mind compartmentalize, that wants to pick apart everything that we go through, everything that we experience. And the mind is great for that, right? The mind is great for analyzing. When it comes to meditation, the trick is to feel. Meditation is something the mind cannot fully explain. The mind can assist you in getting to a meditative state, but pure 100% peaceful meditations and connections will be made when you can disengage the mind, meaning you stop trying to figure out what it is you're doing. So there's many, many guided meditations that you can follow on YouTube. There's numerous, guys, there's hundreds. There's many ones for specific issues. So one I want to speak of specifically, if you're experiencing anxiety, restlessness, fear, lots of worry, in your meditations, you're going to want to, I'm going to suggest this. Do what feels right. Remember, there are many ways. Your root chakra. Your root chakra is your grounding. It is your safety. It is like your safety net, in a sense. It is your pure connection to the earth. And it is your first chakra in the physical body. You have another one below your feet, which is your earth star. I want to focus on the root chakra, since it is basically your safety. Your safety, how you feel in this world, your idea about trusting the process, all of that stuff. The root chakra is responsible for that. Being as it is your first chakra, if there is any blocks in your root chakra, energy going up your other chakras is going to be lower. It's not going to be as efficient as it would be if all your chakras were cleared. A piece of advice, you don't want to go clearing all of your chakras on the same day, unless it's a gentle, maybe 2-minute focused meditation on one chakra. Okay, there's guided meditations to walk you through a cleansing of your basic chakras. That is gentle. Do not try to, or I suggest not going into a 45-minute root chakra cleansing and then going into your sacral cleansing, then your solar plexus, then your heart, then your throat. Don't do that all in a day, unless you want to be quite sick, all right? Everything in moderation, all right, guys? Simple. It's not a rush thing, right? If you're feeling rushed, like you're running out of time, like you can't sit and relax, like your mind just won't stop, root chakra, meditation. All right, so now in meditation, the overall goal is to basically not think of anything. Now, that's easier said than done, all right? So the way I suggest you practice, many of you might be very well versed in meditation. Many of you may have different ways. Many of you maybe already have your ways. I'm here for, guidance and, For some people, bringing it up to the next level. For some people, this could be introductory information. Again, there is always more information. We never ever stop learning. If you guys have any questions, I will check the chat along the way. I'm paying attention. So, all right. When you go into meditation, you want to get your body, being in the 3D world, we tend to function on fight or flight often. It's like go, 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 or, we're just exhausted. Not everybody, not all the time. I'm not saying this is all the time. I'm saying, when you have a to-do list that's 20 things long, right? And you're overwhelmed before you even start, okay? Energetic overwhelm, the mind being too busy. Because if you think about it and you take your to-do list out of your face and you imagine it's in reality that none of those things are actually happening right now, you would realize your body alone is in a state of peace. It's the mind that is creating stories. It's creating stories and beliefs about everything you have to do. So when you can, you want to try to stop that. Catch yourself and say one thing at a time. So with meditation, the more you go into meditation, you'll find your walking hours, when you're walking in the world, will be more peaceful. Just because as you meditate and you release the mind, allow it to go. There may be thoughts. You may be thinking about this and this and this and that. The trick is not to try to stop the thoughts. Rather, watch them. Pretend you are in a car and there's a windshield, and the windshield is going to stop you from identifying fully with your thoughts. Be the observer. Watch what the mind is doing. The mind can run on autopilot, but we have the power to control it. It's all within our power. So it's about taking back our power. And when you go into meditation, the act of releasing all control gives you back your power. Now that may sound like that doesn't make any sense. But the mind and the ego want to tell you constantly what's going on outside of you. And then we often will feel like a victim to, not a victim, but these emotions will come up and we'll be like, well, where the heck did these come from? Probably just the mind running on autopilot. The mind being so used to doing something one way and us just, running with it, right? Saying, well, I'm going to go to the store and I hope it's not so bad. I hope it's really good. And we go to the store and we're just open. We have no intention set, and it's just like, you just leave yourself wide open. So then if something negative comes along, you're like, well, that was a horrible experience, rather than going in there with intention, knowing that no matter what happens, life always moves. Life is always changing, right? The only constant is change, right? You can't control everything that's going to happen to you. It's the 90-10 principle. 90% of life outside of our minds, outside of our bodies, happens. The other 10% is how we react. And how we choose to react is what changes that 90% that's coming in. All right? So it's a start. You start somewhere. So as you go into meditation, really good ways to get out of the fight or flight is to repeat the words safe, calm, peaceful. Remind yourself, I am safe, I am calm, I am protected, I am peaceful. And if you find your mind is still running, repeat those four affirmations again. Even if you have to state them for a couple of minutes, just the act of doing that alone and the spoken word and the spoken vibration of the words you are speaking, safe, calm, peace, those all carry just a higher frequency. So the more you focus on it and feel safe, allow yourself to feel safe, to feel calm, the more it'll start to come in. Now, with those thoughts that continue to come up, when they do, because sometimes they will, right? Again, it's not about stopping them. There's a trick to override the thoughts, and that is by focusing on the breath. So literally breathing in and focusing on what the breath feels like rather than what you're thinking. Your mind's gonna wanna have thoughts about it. Breathe slower, breathe faster. You're not breathing right. Maybe you're not laying right. You're thinking too much. Oh, I just thought about this for 3 minutes. That's okay. Bring yourself back. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent in that state of watching your thoughts. Because as you do that, you'll notice they get quieter and quieter. Another trick I use is when a thought comes up, I put it in a bubble and I picture it pushing out of my aura, right? I picture it pushing out and I say, it can stay there for the next half an hour, 45 minutes, however long. And if I need it or I want to think about it, I'll bring it back. But in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to let everything go. You know, picture it like if you're carrying a lot of heaviness, sometimes I'll picture myself as, you know, picking up this bag, picking up a large bag and laying it down, right? My eyes are closed and I picture all this heaviness. I'm just gonna lay it down, right? For half an hour, 45 minutes. And anytime my mind wants to think about it, I say, no, it's laying down right there. You know, call in your star family, all right? You have a soul family, you have guides, and they are countless. And again, we are bound by the law of free will. No light being outside of yourself will ever go against your free will and assist you without your permission. That's unconditional love, guys. That's pure allowance. That is the allowance to just be. So you can call in their assistance. You don't have to. It's up to you. There is Ascended Masters. You know, I'm going to do maybe a live or a post on Ascended Masters. You know, like a main one I like to meditate with is Lord Sananda. Now, one of his lifetimes was Jesus, okay? And, you know, it's not all about, you know, you have to be this super saintly, spiritual person that is like, you know, walking, you know, this pure life. Like, I wish, right? Not yet. Eventually, we're going to get there, right? With 5D and all that stuff. Right now, we're learning to shift and transmute the stuff that is here. The stuff that is within us, the stuff that is within the collective, the energy that is stored within the earth, you know, along the ley lines. I mean, we're clearing a lot, all right? So staying in a higher frequency will allow you to not feel the collective, and it will also allow you to disconnect from those heavier emotions, right? There's a time to take action on the different experiences that come up in our life, you know, with affirmations or changing belief systems. But again, the mind can only do so much, right? The mind is only part of who you all are, right? You are your etheric body, you are your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your astral body, and then there's more. But the main ones we work with are those. So your emotional body sits outside of you. It may feel like it's within you, but it is. We feel it. Our body is our thermostat, in a sense. Our body tells us when we're too hot. It tells us when we're too cold. It's like that is our gauge for what frequency we're vibrating in. You know, what frequencies or, you know, maybe old programming we still hold. So as you're meditating, like I said, the trick is the goal is to not think about anything. But when you try to not think about anything, you'll start to think about everything. So I will envision myself surrounded also by white light. Now, when mind wants to go anywhere else, all I do is picture white light. White light. My brain wants to think about, oh, I got to do this, or I have this to do tomorrow, or I'm feeling super tense, or, lots of tension, anxiety in my stomach and my chest, and my mind wants to keep me focused on that. And again, that's that part where you breathe into it and do your best to offer it up and realize the body and the mind can watch the body, okay? The mind can watch the body rather than be the body, right? We are in the world, but not of it. You are more than just this body. You are a massive spiritual being. Like, if you're here and you're watching this message, you're awakening to your truth, you're asking these questions, it's because you were meant to, right? You were meant to. You're not here by mistake. This is not, this was a mission. And within this mission, there is so much peace. And sometimes we can often wonder where that is. Like, where is it? Why isn't it here? Sometimes it can feel like it's just never ending, the pressure. Meditation, the best way for me to disconnect. So within meditation, what happens is the mind lets go of everything. The mind lets go of its grasp on this idea, or a bad day at work, or even an idea that you may have from, maybe that child who bullied you in grade 6, or maybe you're feeling like you're just being really hard on yourself. You're in a state of, just feeling down, feeling rough. And, I read something I want to share, because this is something that I don't want to say disagree with, but in a way I do. I read that there are times that when you're feeling very emotional, that it'll be harder for you to connect to your spirit team and your guides and all that stuff. Or they say that temporarily, or I read that temporarily you won't be able to connect while you move through this stuff. Okay. One, I call bull. I'm sorry. If you think about it, the worst times in your life that you are down, that you need support, if you believe your guides and your higher self are going to cut you off, I mean, come on. That's when we need them the most, right? Our higher selves, our soul family, they're there. They're unconditional. They're just ready at any moment you are, right? It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's an hour. It doesn't matter if it's while you're driving in the car. Call them. Help me. Assist me. Guide me. Your higher self is you in essence, and there's just a part of you down here within this body right now walking this earth. So again, you are more than this body, and the way to really connect and to find your power within there, within your heart, within yourself, minus the body, or with the body, is to go within. There was a saying, if you don't go within, you go without. And again, when you go within, it's not about collecting and gathering information. Actually, there's really, essentially, the only thing you need to do is get into a receptive state. Be willing to let go of everything you thought you knew. And again, don't let the mind analyze it. The mind will not explain to you what's happening in meditation. Your heart will. And rather than hearing information, as you meditate, you allow your body to absorb higher frequencies. Now, these higher frequencies, these vibrations, they start to unlock your DNA. They start to activate different parts within your chakras, within your blueprint of your DNA. So essentially, there's really nothing that you have to do other than a surrender. And it's not I bow to you, you're holy, blah. No, we bow to no one, right? There's no one greater or lesser than you, ever. We are one, essentially. If you take a fractal, right, and it's in its whole form, okay, the fractal, you would see the whole fractal for the entire picture that it is. right? It would be this geometrical, beautiful shape. Now, if you took that fractal and you smashed it into a million pieces, the interesting thing about fractals is at a microscopic level, that fractal will look exactly the same as the entire whole did. Okay, so technically that's another way to think of who we are. We come from the same source. We are just having our own experiences. Okay? Same source, own experiences. And your full whole self is your higher self. And your higher self allows you to really disconnect from the limiting beliefs that we can hold about who we are. Okay, like, you know that you have abilities. You can hear, you see, you dream. You know more than, most people do. Okay? That's not for nothing. That's truly, essentially, who you are. A lot of your things that you will unlock during meditation, you're not learning them. You're not gaining them. You're remembering them. You're activating them. They are essentially part of who you are. It's not anything you have to earn. It's more something you need to develop. So meditation and the silencing the mind, it just brings in this peace. It may take a few times to get used to. Even if you do 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, you will notice a drastic shift. You will notice that you will find a lot of peace within meditation. And then one day after meditating for a little while, it doesn't take long, you're just going to wake up and you're just going to be like, oh wow, I feel peaceful. Like, okay. And it's a little shocking at first. And again, it's like the mind will want to try to explain it, but the mind doesn't explain it. It's the heart, it's the body, right? It's what we feel, our soul, right? Souls feel, we feel. And that's why we've never been taught how to feel, right? We've been taught what not to feel. We've been taught what society says is acceptable, what is, what isn't. Being out of your mind, literally out of your mind, is the best way for you to connect, okay? So again, there are guided meditations that you can follow. You can go into meditation just going in silent, putting yourself in a receptive state, breathing and letting no thought come, and just be willing to just be. Listen to a song you really like. Listen to music, right? Feel the music, right? As you're sitting there, picture that music flowing within your body, right? Picture it flowing and clearing, releasing, whatever makes you feel good. You don't have to be stationary. You can be in the bath, you can lay down, you can sit. If you're in a anxious, more kind of restless state, I suggest laying down and allowing your body to feel supported by the earth. Picturing the earth coming up and just surrounding you and holding you, right? Put yourself into a loving, nurturing state. We don't do that often enough, right? It's like a go, 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 or why am I feeling this? I shouldn't be feeling this. And then we can be hard on ourselves, right? Love yourself. Go lay in bed if you're tired. Go take a nap. And, as you wrap the blankets around you or whatever it is that you do, hold a stuffy, hold a pillow, whatever brings you comfort and nurturing, whatever brings you that feeling of safety, do it. And as you're doing it, absorb it. Be conscious of it. Like, wow, right in this moment, I feel safe. And breathe and feel, the trust and the support that is around you. Again, the mind will want to think. So that's when you're going to bring yourself back to your body. What is your body doing? Is your body, what are your legs doing? Are they supported? Is your stomach feeling supported? Are your hands feeling relaxed? Is your jaw relaxed? Deep breaths, relax the eyes. Like I said, if the mind is going too much, you can follow your breath, follow the thoughts. Try not to follow them too much, but but just see them like I said, like you're in behind the windshield and every thought is a car going by. You don't need to go and drive and chase every car. You can just be a witness to it driving by. Every now and then we might catch ourselves following a thought, but again, bring yourself back. You know, be in a state of allowance. If you feel you're getting frustrated, again, it's because the mind is trying to make sense of something. If you're frustrated, if you're annoyed, the mind is involved. Breathe, picture breathing out that frustration. And again, being in a state of allowance. So you can do, like I said, meditation. You can just go into meditation just because it is very beautiful and it is very peaceful. While you're learning to meditate or practicing, developing, I suggest following a guided meditation. If you're having trouble sleeping, follow a sleeping guided meditation. Look it up, as, sleeping chakra meditation, grounding sleeping meditation. Anything that grounds you into the earth is going to help relax your energy. It's going to help to bring nurturing to you. And when you're full of nurturing love, the only thing that can show up in your experience is things that are ready to be loved. And you will be overflowing with this love and you will be able to surround it. And this is bringing me to my next meditation suggestion. When you are going through say you had a really bad day, or say you got into an argument with someone and it's really bugging you, all right? And the mind wants to keep going over, I should have said this, maybe I should have done that. Or you find you're in a situation in the past and your mind is saying, well, maybe you're reevaluating, how you've allowed people to treat you, right? As we do that, it's very good to learn. You're not meant to relive it. In a sense, you want to feel it, but you don't want to go over the whole conversation in your head. If you find you're going over the whole conversation from years ago, last year, earlier that day, bring it into meditation. Close your eyes, picture it as a ball, or put it in a box, and say, I'm going to bring this issue with me. It's raw in me. I feel this emotion, but I'm going to put it in a box. I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to bring my light in. I'm going to bring my center in. I'm going to bring my peace. And breathe, ground. Picture any excess energy going into the earth. And then picture your crown chakra opening and a connection to your higher self. Okay? As above, so below. Connect above, below, and around you. And that right there sets up a pillar. It sets up a cocoon, in a sense, of white light that's going to surround you. And guess what? It's your light. It just takes your conscious intention and knowing of it to set it up. And it takes no effort. Again, the mind will want to say, well, maybe I have to think about this, then I have this. No. It's a feeling. Picture it. Picture it. Don't think about it. Picture white light around you. Your energy's going down. You're supported by, you can picture a mother, right? Your mother, a loving mother, and picture hands like this, or an angel, whatever you want, and picture that you're being held within there, right? It could be your own hands, right? It could be angel wings. Whatever brings you peace. I've even listened to dolphins and whales and pictured myself in a pod, right? In the middle of this beautiful blue lagoon. And I imagine that the dolphins and the whales are swimming around me, and again, it's not about worth or why would these dolphins be swimming around me or why would they even give me the time of day. Again, they're unconditional. Dolphins and whales are powerful. And so I picture myself just floating within this lagoon in like a pod, and I'm on this, feather bed that's so comfy and I'm so protected, I'm so safe. And anytime my mind wants to think about, well, this or this or this, it's like, not right now. I'm with the dolphins, and right now I'm just going to release. Sometimes your body will want to, when you're trying to go into a meditative state, the mind at first doesn't like to lose control. That's part of the ego. The ego says we have to do, right? Spirit says be, be, be. Relax. Sometimes the mind can get louder when you first try to meditate. Again, do your best to not get discouraged. Okay? What you seek is seeking you. Always remember that. And whatever is meant to happen will happen. Try to go in with no expectations and just be open. Just be willing. Picture yourself like a cell tower. Willing. You know, I'm open and I'm willing to receive whatever it is you want to show me. I may not know what's going to happen. I may not know what to believe. I may not know what's real, what's not. But I'm going to be willing and I'm going to try. Trust me, the only thing you can gain from quieting the mind is peace. So the more you do it, and a lot of times when you're driving, have you ever been driving and then you're like, whoa, how did I get here? And then you start wondering, did I run any lights? Did I miss a stop sign? Because I can't remember for the life of me going from here to here. You went into a meditative state. Again, the mind was present, but the mind didn't need to be as active as we believe it to be. Something else guided you, just a knowing, an internal knowing, right? Even if you don't consciously remember everything, somehow you got from here to there. So you were in a meditative state. So while you're in meditation, again, your experiences will be very different each time. Maybe they'll feel the same often. Again, like I said, I suggest doing guided meditations. Look up guided meditations with ascended masters, Lord Sananda, the violet flame, okay? One of the most powerful tools that we have at our disposal 24/7 is the violet flame. You can invoke this flame. You just call on it. I invoke the violet flame to surround my beliefs, to surround my body, to surround me as I meditate. And what the violet flame does is, well, we have to remember, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. All right? It can be transmuted, shifted from one polarity to another. What the violet flame does is it helps you to take fear, and it helps you to eliminate limiting beliefs, subconscious attachments, subconscious triggers. And what it does is it helps you to literally, it transmutes a whole bunch of things for you. So it's powerful. Invoking it into a relationship. Say you're having a tough time with your mom, or your dad, or your sister, or your best friend, or, you know, you're having a hard time with your job or with your daily tasks. Invoke the violet flame from a conscious state. Go close your eyes. And again, the same way you would picture white light around you, picture the flame, the violet flame. Picture it flowing through your electronics. It can interrupt, electromagnetic frequencies that are harmful. Use it. Picture it flowing through your bones, through your DNA. Because we hold energy. Like I said, it can neither be created nor destroyed. So if we're carrying a bunch of energy and programming, and a lot of it, again, it's not your fault. You were born into this. You chose this because you knew you could literally break it. And all star seeds, light workers, grid workers, there's many names, all have the amazing ability to be powerful spiritual alchemists. And alchemy is basically just taking one thing and taking it from its original form and shifting it into something new. Okay? So, calling in the violet flame. Again, you don't have to understand what it is you're calling it into. You can call it into, I invoke the violet flame to sit within my body in places where I have fear, in places where I worry. I'm worrying about my rent, or I'm worrying about money. I invoke the violet flame to surround my bank, to surround my ideas and my beliefs around my abundance, my money, and you can do that with everything. There is a YouTube video, it's about 15 minutes long, and it's by Steve Noble, and it's affirmations, violet fire affirmations, and it's about 15 minutes long. Wow, is it powerful. It really guides you into invoking the violet flame into pretty much anything and everything that you can think of. And it's pure power. When I do it, I often get chills up and down. And again, it's about remembering your power. And when I say your power, I don't mean like, oh, I'm better than you power or arrogant power. No, it's just innately who you are. And the 3D system has made it so we believe that power can sometimes be equated to control, or I'm more powerful than you are, or powerful so you're going to do what I say because I say it powerful. No. Powerful in the way that you are just pure unconditional love to begin with. And the highest frequency and the highest power and the most strongest force in the entire universe of universes is love, because it's such a high frequency, right? When you are going through a breakup, right? We can often say love hurts, but it's not love that hurts. It's the lack of love that hurts, okay? It's the lack of love. Sometimes we can say, my parents, or you had like, you don't have the best relationship with your parents, right? You can say, well, you can take that and equate that to an idea of love, right? But again, love doesn't hurt. Love heals. Lack of love hurts. Lack of peace is what causes, restlessness. It's usually a lack of the light that will allow us to feel the dark a lot more. And so when you have these harder, situations or anything else that comes in, bring it into meditation. Again, it's not about solving it. You bring it into meditation by saying, oh, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling really anxious, or I'm feeling upset, or my mind is just wanting to go on and on and on. So you're going to bring it into meditation, close your eyes, know it, see it for what it is. It is a story, but if you break it down and say everything in the world right now were to fall away from you, okay? Say every person you ever knew, every other person in the world just automatically got transported to another planet, okay? And it was just you here. How much of the things that you were thinking and worrying about would actually matter? You knew everybody was safe, everybody was protected, and now you're down here. You have the whole world at your feet. You can do whatever you want. There's no limitation anymore. There's no conditions, because there's no stories attached to why you can't do something, who's standing in your way. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's wondering what people will think. Well, hey, picture everybody gone. Now what would you do, right? If you could do anything. And that's releasing attachments within the mind. And when you release those attachments, it's not about, oh, I have to not care about that person. No, it's that I can still be with this person or still love this person, but it doesn't have to change or affect how I feel. Ever. Ever. Okay, so situations have so much meaning because we give them meaning. We give them meaning. Everything you experience, you give meaning to. If you really can disconnect, even if you see it when you're in that white bubble as chords coming to you, as processes of information, like you're thinking about work, and then you're thinking about school, or you're thinking about your kids, you're thinking about this. Picture that white light severing all of those connections with love. It's not about ignoring. It's about literally laying it down so you don't have to carry it or feel it for a little while. Sometimes, holding on to something so much just makes it stay more, right? It's that surrender, the allowance. Okay, I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling annoyed, so I may hold it for a bit. You may want to feel it for a bit. Again, do what feels right. Just make sure that you don't get too caught up into it. You want to think about things for the time they need to be thought about, but don't let it write your entire day. Don't let it write tomorrow. Don't say, well, I had today I was really worried, or, and then you just say, well, if yesterday was like this and today was like this, then obviously tomorrow is going to be like this, right? And it will be, because that's what you're believing will happen. So with meditation comes more control, you start to feel peace. So then it's not even about the mind knowing anything. The body will just start to override the mind, little by little, but in powerful ways. So again, violet flame into everything as often as you can. Again, a suggestion, you don't have to. There are other sacred flames that I work with. There are 7, right? The violet flame is one of them. It is the flame of transmutation. Many more qualities. The ascended master you would work with the violet flame would be Saint Germain. Again, YouTube, Saint Germain, violet flame meditation. If you want a guide, I found the guided meditations very educational, because they talk about a lot of stuff. Again, there may be some stuff you don't understand. There may be stuff that seems too simple, but for me, I find simple is the best, because within simplicity, there's purity, right? The simpler something is, the less chemical makeup or compounds make up that idea, that belief, that system. So simple. Then there's the other flames. I have posted about them. I am going to do a live and probably a post maybe explaining a bit more of them, because each of them are very, very, very powerful. Oh, and for the violet flame, the archangel would be Archangel Zadkiel. Again, there's many, many, many archangels. If you have a question about any of them, feel free to reach out and ask me. The internet is great for research. Again, you will find much, much, much information. What one source may say about this archangel, another source may say something completely different, right? And then sometimes you can find that they contradict. All right, there's so many teachings out there. I go with what brings me peace. Remember, it's not about perfection, right? It's not about perfection. It's about learning what works for us and using it in simple ways to grow your knowledge. And with that, you'll just eventually start to know more. And some of it will come from learning, books, reading, training the mind. Again, if you're finding your mind is racing too much, you can't even focus on, watching a show, and meditation isn't working, I suggest getting a book. Pick up a book and just start reading it. Pick up a book and start reading it. Because again, eventually your mind will be so focused on the book, it'll stop thinking about identifying or making sense of your reality in every now moment. That can sometimes happen. The mind just wants to constantly go. Okay? A book, meditation, the violet flame. If you find your mind is like, and it's just everywhere, call on the violet flame. I invoke the violet flame to sit within my mental body. Again, your mind just isn't in your head. You have a whole energetic body that sits outside of you like a bubble, and it's your mental body. It is responsible for the mind. Everything with the mind. So that's why sometimes when you think a thought that maybe scares you, you'll feel it in your arms. Or sometimes you'll feel it in your stomach. Or you'll feel it in your throat. Or you'll feel it in your arms. Or your face will get hot, right? That's because the mental body is not just within the mind. It's not just within the brain. The brain is amazing. The brain, like I said, the brain is what allows us to function within these bodies. But what runs the brain, right? What causes our nails to grow, our hair to grow, right? Our heart to beat. We don't have to think about all these things to make them happen. They just do. And with meditation, that's what you'll learn as well. That many things in meditation you don't need to think about. They just happen, and you'll become more and more aware of them. connect with your heart. Really focus on your heart. Many people watching this, you may have your third eye open, right? You may have visions in your waking hours. You may have dreams. You may have prophetic dreams. You may have different synchronicities. You're seeing repeating numbers, or, all of a sudden, you asked a question about something, and then you jump onto Facebook or a social media platform a couple hours later, and boom, there's your answer. Again, pay attention to those. That's the universe, source. That is your higher self, your guide saying, we're here. Pay attention to us. Like, notice us, because they want you to notice them. They want to assist you, and they want to remind you often. Every time you see a bird and you wonder, like, oh wow, I wonder what that bird means. Or you see a wolf and you wonder, oh, I wonder if I have a connection with wolves, or if that's a spirit animal for me. If you have those questions, especially around certain animals, chances are those animals are trying to get your attention, right? Everything's energy. Even the phone that I'm talking on, the chair that I'm sitting on, right? We go to physics, right? Everything is particles, just moving at different speeds. And the faster it moves and the closer it is together, we get a physical object, right? So in the 3D world, what we tend to only see is matter. We tend to see the dense things. We don't see the frequencies often. We usually will see these with dreams or visions, or we'll feel it. Just like walking into a room. If you walk into a room and people are arguing in the room, you literally feel the tension, and you're like, oh, something's off. But again, we're not taught to pay attention to that. That's powerful. That's your body talking to you. That is your soul saying, like I said, your thermostat. It's your signal. Like, oh, doesn't mean you have to, just because you feel it, doesn't mean you're like, oh, well, everyone here is in a bad mood, so I might as well be in a bad mood, right? That's, again, allowing your circumstance to create your emotion. Rather, use your situation to identify everything that's going on. Their emotion, your ability to stay disconnected from their emotion. So meditation will help you to do so many things, even though while you're meditating, the trick is, remember, no thought. Use these guided meditations to help you to learn what to visualize on your own and to feel. Use them to feel, right? If you have a hard time visualizing, that's okay. Put yourself into a feeling position. I'm going to focus on how my hand feels, or my stomach feels, or how my back feels, and really releasing into it. So, guided meditations, silence, affirmations, intention. Just set an intention every morning. My intention today is to walk in the highest frequency and to spread the best vibrations or the most loving vibrations wherever I go. Set that intention. If you think about it, that's actually what you want, because the more we do that, the more we just create it around everybody. Meaning it just comes back to us. What you put out comes back. The more love you send out, the more acceptance. Send love to your home. Send love to the pillow that you're going to meditate with. Send love to the blanket. Fill it with your light. Your love is literally energetic light. Like if you could see it, you would see that your hands have light. Your whole body is light. And everything that you touch absorbs that light. The problem is we don't see it, so we don't consciously even make an effort to push it out because, well, why would we if we don't know it's there, right? So your light is so powerful. Your light is one of the most powerful healing tools you can use for yourself. Say you're feeling anxious and you feel it in your heart. Place your hands over your heart and set the intention that through your hands you're sending in relaxation. You're sending in light. breathe, feel it. You will literally start to feel it. Your hands may get tingly. You might find your body twitches. And again, it's not about effort. It's not like, oh, I got to push this energy and no, I got to push it, I got to do this. No. It comes when you just relax and let, energy flows best through soft bodies, relaxed bodies. It's like being in a river, a raging river, okay? We'll say that's life. And you're constantly trying to swim against the current, trying to get somewhere, trying to get from here to there. And you're swimming. You're swimming so hard, okay? Because you think that from here, that's where you need to go. So it should take effort, right? It's what we're taught. If you want to get somewhere, you got to work hard. It should take effort. If it's easy, then something's not right. So when you're trying too much to control things, you're literally swimming against the current of the river. Surrender within meditation comes from realizing that you can just lay on your back and you can ride those waves. Okay? You can ride, you can float. There's no swimming, there's nothing involved. It may take some effort, but you can literally lay on your back and float instead of constantly trying to swim against the current and eventually drown. You'll eventually run out of energy and you'll drown, and then you'll wonder, why am I here again? Why am I here? Why do I keep coming back here? Well, are you swimming against the current? Sometimes the flow. Allow your day to be what it is. Instead of saying, well, I'm going to work, but I really hate my job and I really wish I didn't have to do this every single day. I get it. It's okay to hate your job. But if you can come from a place of, well, this is what is. I have this job. Do I want to keep this job in general? For the benefits? Yes, no, maybe so. You decide. If it's a yes, I strongly suggest changing your thought pattern around it so you can feel better. Not so the job can be better, not so that you do a better job or anything. It's about you feeling better. So saying, well, I may not like everything that I do with this job. There may be one thing, only one thing that you can find about it that you really enjoy. Well, unless you're going to get a new job and you want to keep that job, I suggest just focusing on the one thing that you really like about that job. Really, really, really focus on that and push your gratitude. I am so grateful that maybe I may not like this, but I'm really grateful for, maybe the people I can connect with. I'm really grateful for the learning that I get or the patience that this may teach me. I'm really grateful that I can help. I'm grateful that my effort makes a difference. Remember, when you go to a job, your effort makes a difference. And your intention with your effort is what changes everything. It's a game changer when you decide that I'm going to go to work because that is what is. If it's part of your reality, the act of despising it while it's a part of your reality will just make it harder and harder and harder to be in. Why? Because all you're sending it is negative energy. So what is it going to give you back? So try to focus on one little thing and push your gratefulness towards that. Well, I may not like that I have a long drive to work, but I'm really grateful that I have some kick-ass music that I can just crank and listen all the way. And then at work, maybe on my lunch break, I'll do this that I really like. Or while I'm working, maybe I'll play some music in the background. I don't know, little things, guys. It's baby steps. But Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. Right? We give meaning to everything. We give meaning to going to the grocery store. We give meaning cooking dinner. We could be watching the exact same show, but your meaning of the show and what I take from the show could be completely different. Does that make any of them wrong? No. That is just what is. Right? The more we try to fight, it's like watching a scary movie. You know it's going to be scary, and then at the end of it, you're mad at yourself for being scared. But it's like, but why? You knew you were about to watch a scary movie, so you should have known you were going to be scared. Right? Again, it's like sometimes wishing we could change things that just are. We can make changes, and changes do come, but changes don't come when you're hating the circumstance. There just won't, it's resistance. There's no receptivity to allow anything better to come to you. So when you feel there's a block, send love to that block. I hate my job, so I'm going to send it as much love as I can. I can't stand my boss, so as I meditate tonight, I'm going to surround him, ask his higher self, to surround him with the violet flame, right? You don't want to go against anyone's free will, so surround your office. If you're ever unsure, always put, if you're going to invoke the violet flame, because you can do it for your loved ones, I surround my children with it every night. Every day, my home, before I go to bed, I invoke it into my walls, my floor, my bed, my heart, my mind, like my phone. Social media, I push it through social media, and again, it's not about thought. I just trust it to do what it's going to do. And within trust comes allowance, within allowance comes surrender, and within surrender comes peace. Okay, guys, so let's see. Sorry, guys, I know I haven't been checking the just checking if there's any questions. All right. Okay, so far I don't see any, but hello to everybody who's still watching, who's here, who's stayed or just checked in. If you haven't watched the whole thing, I suggest maybe going back, checking it out. Cool little tips. Like I said, I'm going to do a post, or maybe a video or a post about the Ascended Masters, because a really good way to learn about them is to learn about the sacred flames. Like I said, there's 7 main ones. And then with each flame, there is an Ascended Master, there is an Archangel, there's Elohim. The Elohim are creators of forms and universes. They're the great grand architects of universes, right? So for each flame, there are keepers, in a sense, that guard it, protect it, feed it, nurture it. There's archangels, there's angels, right? Ascended Masters. I can't think right off the bat, but they're one of the Ascended Masters. I'd have to look this up, but one of his lifetimes was Leonidas, king of Sparta, right? So an Ascended Master, that was just one of his lifetimes. So a lot of times when I find that, if you've been in the church or religion where it's heavily that, this walk is supposed to be just all saintly and peace and everything's yes, right? That's ideal, but in reality, it's not possible to just do every day. If it was, we wouldn't need to be here on a mission. We're here on a mission to bring these ideas through, right? And the more people that adapt these ideas, the more realities around us just start to change, because our consciousness allows new ideas, new ideas to be birthed, a new earth, a new way to be, to feel, to see, to sense, right? So again, no act is ever too small. 5 minutes of meditation, can change a lot. 10 minutes, an hour. There was I think it's Buddha, I think it's Buddha. But he says that in your day, if you are busy and you are so busy and you can't even find 1 hour to meditate, he said you need to find 2. Okay? So, because again, it comes down to what's important. And I'm telling you, when you connect in meditation, when you connect and you allow, life around you just starts to just flow in a surrender. Yes, you'll have your days. Yes, you'll have moments. Yes, you still have stuff that will come up, and that's okay. You're gentle as it comes up, right? It's not a rush. And it's not about, well, I was here yesterday, I'm here today. Okay, but yesterday was now and right now is now. Everything is now, right? Yesterday existed, but it's done. You can't do anything from it. Now you can't change it. The only thing you can do is learn from it. So use it as as a guide. Your past is meant to guide you, to teach you, right? You learn. It's not about the destination, it's the journey, right? Our goal is the journey, finding peace along the journey. If you're consistently putting your happiness into a future position, you'll find when that future position comes up, like say, well, this evening I will relax and then I'll feel better. Rather than doing it for the first 8 hours of your day and you're just in a go, 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 go state. Once all that go, 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 go stuff is done, if all you've thought about is go, 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 and all of a sudden now everything's done and you're like, well, why don't I feel better? Well, that's because you placed too much priority on putting your happiness somewhere else rather than with you. You can be having a hard day and not have to, throw up everything and say, well, everything's done. I give up. Everything's too heavy. It's too hard. We have those moments. You have them. Move through them. Feel them. Release them. Right? It's about flow. It's about surrender. And it's about action and inaction when you need to. And if you don't know whether you need to be in action right now or in action, chances are you need to be in action if you don't know. Meditate. Like I said, watch a movie, dance, put on a 10-minute workout. If you feel you have a lot of energy in your body you can't get rid of, put on an intense workout. Push your body to the limits. Don't make yourself sick, but you are so powerful. You are so much more powerful than you've even been led to believe, right? So you are your greatest power. You really are. And you are incredible, powerful beyond measure, right? We can move mountains. So, well, I think that's it. If you guys do have any questions, or more questions, or there's anything more specific that you would like me to speak about, I have no problem coming on and sharing. I will always share what my truth is. And again, I'm always learning. This is always evolving. What I've spoken about with meditation and, Ascended Masters and Flames is all introductory. There is much more information. But again, you don't need to know everything to accomplish or find peace. You just have to have the intention and the will and the conscious choice that I do want to experience peace, so I'm going to make that 5-10 minutes for myself every day and meditate. Right? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to change? Right? Because so much of what we go through every day is repetitive. It's just reactions, redoing something that we've previously done because that's just what we're used to doing. Doesn't mean we want to do it, we've just gotten used to doing it. Right? Like the way you drive to work. Right? There are other ways, but you just go that same way every day because, well, maybe it's the shortest way, right? And the same thing happens with how we, wake up. We wake up and we have our coffee, Within that first 10-20 minutes of being awake, you can decide whether you're going to have a really shitty day or whether you're going to have a really good day, right? And sometimes it can change like that. Again, becoming conscious in the moment. Okay, I was feeling better. I'm not now. What's going on? Where is my mind going? Follow it. And once you find it, bring it into meditation. Invoke the violet flame around it, right? If it's just a big giant mess and your mind is everywhere, again, picture it like you're collecting it all from your body. Collect it from your legs, your arms, your mind, your throat. If it feels like it's all in your brain, picture pulling it out, putting it in a basket and laying it down on the ground. Literally picture yourself laying it down. Just saying, okay, I'm going to take like 20 minutes to just, or half an hour to just not think about anything. Like, if you want, just sometimes I'm in a state where I'm like, you know what, right now, fuck it all. I'm just going to go into meditation. And anytime my mind is like, nope, fuck off. Right now, I just, because there's times where I go in and I'm frustrated. So rather than staying in that state, I will bring it into meditation. Bring love within the frustration, right? You can hold both. You can hold frustration, sadness, anger, grief. And you can also hold love at the same time. Just because you're feeling one doesn't mean you can't feel the other. Practice bringing them both in. And when you bring love into your harder emotions, bring it in the way that you're being gentle. Well, I'm really anxious right now, so I'm going to be, gentle. I'm going to love myself as if it were someone else that were suffering beside me. And love yourself the way you would love someone else. If you need to, pull yourself out and picture yourself from outside of your body. And again, with your hands, picture yourself as a soul, a big being of white light, placing your hands onto your physical body. And picture that. Close your eyes and then make that your intention and visualize light coming out of your hands, pushing towards your body. Even if you don't sense it in the moment, I'm telling you, something's happening, right? There's so much that we can't see, and many people can see it. If you have your third eye open, or you get, like I said, visions or different things, you will have seen these things. So you are loved, you are protected, you are guided, you are powerful beyond measure, okay? And you are so worthy and worthwhile because you were born that way. Okay, guys? Love and light to everybody. Again, any questions, ask. There may have been more, but again, I come on and I don't ever have a script. I just have an idea of kind of what I'm going to talk about. So any questions, if there's more information you want to know, let me know. Google is also your best friend. You want to learn about the root chakra, go on to or Google whatever search engine, what is the root chakra? How can I work with my root chakra? What are the 7 chakras? What is a good meditation to fall asleep to? What is a good meditation for anxiety? You can go on to YouTube and put in anxiety meditation, worry meditation. You can put in meditations to bring about happiness, joyful meditation. There's a meditation where they just laugh, and I've done it and it felt a little odd at first, but I found I ended up laughing at myself laughing because it was just seemed so ridiculous. But it was great. It raised my vibration. So whatever works, having a conversation with a family member, thinking about something funny, simple things, going for a drive, listening to good, funny music. I listen to some songs sometimes that my kids, they're just like, oh gosh, I don't know if you've ever heard the song Coincidence. It's funny. It's like coincidence, but coincidence. And for me, I love it. My kids find it dreadful because there's a dance and I do it to torture them, especially when we're in the car. They're like, no, Mom. And I laugh at that because they like it. They laugh. So, but we find different ways to lift each other up, and reach out, whatever it is you need to do in those moments, right? Reach out, snuggle with your pet, hold a stuffed animal, put on a feel-good Disney movie. It's another thing. I love cartoons for some reason. So again, there's a whole bunch of stories around the people behind Disney and Walt Disney and all this stuff and the 3D stuff. And again, wherever there's dark, there's light, okay? And wherever there's light, it's the yin, the yang. So I love Disney movies. So if I'm ever, just feeling really rough, I'll find a Disney movie and I'll ask my daughter, hey, do you want to watch Zootopia or something with me? Something that, disconnects you from the seriousness. Life isn't supposed to be so serious. It's supposed to be joyful too. So we'll watch Zootopia or something. And we'll cuddle on the couch and we'll make a bake of popcorn. And I just let myself get into the movie and forget about all the serious things that life can bring sometimes. And I just allow myself to be like a child, free of concerns, free of worries. I flow. I trust. I watch these things and I wonder, wow, that would be really fun to do. Or, oh, that's a really good, emotion I'm feeling that I'm getting from this movie. So I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to believe that that exists within my reality, even if it's just on a TV screen. Your beliefs are powerful, right? Again, that's why when you watch, if you watch movies that are scary, really scary, chances are you're going to feel scared because that's the frequency you just absorbed and allowed within you, and that's where you're currently vibrating at. So if you're ever in a lower vibration and you want a quick way to get out, laugh, meditate, watch something funny, put on something that just makes you smile. I don't know, watch a silly TikTok, watch anything that brings joy, laughter. And if you can't find something, message me and I'll find something for you. Okay? You guys are all awesome. You are loved. You are protected. Keep going. Keep going. I know it can be intense. But remember, when you have the ability to hold the intensity of one emotion as fear, it means you also have the ability to hold the opposite. So intense peace. And another metaphor before closing off is when you find that you're maybe in the lower vibrations, you're moving through some heavy stuff. I like to picture myself as a slingshot or within a slingshot. And the further back you're pulled within the darkness, okay? So when it feels heavy and, there's lots of emotions coming up and you're unsure. Picture yourself as being pulled back, right, in the slingshot. And the further back you are in the dark, and the further back you're pulled within that slingshot, when you are let go and when you are about to level up, the further back and the more tension there is within that slingshot, the further and the higher you're going to go. Okay? So when you have the ability to hold the experience of one, or you're experiencing the opposite of what you want to feel, chances are it's moving out and you're about to experience the opposite. And you can create it at any moment. Be within it. Sometimes it takes, more effort some days to consciously remind yourself again and again and again. Meditation helps with that. Okay? Love and light. You guys are all amazing. I hope this was helpful and inspiring for people, and I hope it was enough for maybe to kind of get you to try to maybe push out and try some new things. Again, everything I say is suggestions. I come with love. I come with no demands. I come with acceptance of all. And you guys all rock. Never forget that. Love and light, guys.